Okay, here we are at the head of the Chariot Canyon Creek Trail. We're gonna go on a little hike. The goal of today is to walk to the property of the Chariot Canyon mine, or the Golden Chariot mine, and we're gonna just check out the conditions of the place and see how good the road is. I tried to get back here with a standard SUV and it started to get a little hairy, so I thought I would just hike it and check out how bad the road is. I mean, it's not that bad, but you can see right here, for example, it gets pretty dippy, and who knows if the road's blown out along the way. So just doing a little exploratory, check this thing out type of thing. All right, we'll continue on as we get further into the canyon. Just kind of take a little view of the entrance here. This is called the Banner Grade. Coming down that valley or that hill way up there is from Julian, California. And you got, you know, this road is a meandering road. Now up in the hills of Julian, on the other side of this mountain, it's a lot more green. But as is common on the West Coast with the Sierra Mountains, it dumps all the rain on the other side, and then it becomes pretty desolate on this side of the mountains, on the east side. So, and then we got a little moon there. All right, so let's go check things out. All right, about a quarter mile in, and it's already an uphill hike. You can see down there is where my car is parked. I'll keep going. I got this hill to climb, and this is just, I got another 2 miles. All right, I'm at the second gate, or it's like a little cattle gate. Already had one truck pass me. So the good news is this is at least an indication this is reasonably traveled, but looked like a 4x4 truck. So even though the road seems to be in pretty good condition right here, a little, you know, they're rolling at like less than 5 miles an hour because it's pretty bumpy. All right, keep on keeping. Good, how you doing?
How far did you go?
I'm just gonna walk down to the mine.
Okay.
Yeah, just checking it out.
Okay, cool.
Take care.
Nice.
All right, that was the second truck. Didn't want to film the gentleman, but let's see. I just do a distance. So there we go. Got the filming. We're about 1 mile in at this stage in the game, 1.1. So far it's been a lot like this. Probably looks a lot flatter on the screen, where this is at a good uphill grade. And you know, the mountains in the distance, that's the Banner Grade. And behind me, heading on up the Chariot Canyon Trail. All right, we got our first tree. I mean, there's some bushes and stuff. This is actually a woody tree along the trail, down a little canyon. So it seems like it might get wet enough with the natural rains around here to support some larger stuff. But this is mostly just brush I understand they had a canyon fire back in the early 2000s that burned a lot of the structures out here. So my guess is, well, the map says this place is prone to wildfire, so that's kind of, it is what it is. Well, it looks like I've got my work cut out for me because the road looks like it switches back to the saddle up there in the mountain. So I see the cut. Saw this on the map, and I think that's one of the highest points, although I see a little notch in the hill up there. I don't know what that is. I don't know if I noticed that from the map, but it looks like I'm headed this direction. But I've got all sorts of elevation to climb, which is what the elevation map said, but here it is in real life. So I just point out a lot of the little quartz stringers that are all throughout the rock for the cuts in the road. So you can kind of see that this area, the geology of the area is just crawling with quartz, right? It doesn't look very mineralized. Kind of brecciated brook up there a little bit, but not super interesting as far as I can tell. I'm sure plenty of people have taken their samples and not found it very fun, but just kind of an indication as you're going through this area. It's just lousy with quartz, right? So that's kind of cool to see these stringers all throughout. So it'd be interesting what the old timers were chasing when they did find the good stuff. All right, here's a particular spot that looks nasty for a vehicle. I mean, you got a bunch of ruts. Looks like people choose their way so they don't high center out, but still, this is not, it's not for your standard truck or standard SUV. Pretty deep ruts in these roads from the water runoff. And we're heading to the saddle. All right, here's a truck coming. Here's something coming. Up there's two vehicles. Looks like I got a 4x4 Jeep and another Bronco down the way there. So got some friends coming up, checking in on me. I like these little spots in the shade, and I'm walking. It's pretty nice. Still seem to have 2 bars of signal. It's going in and out between 1 bar and 2 bars, but at 5G, so pretty good. I'm almost at the top. Okay, I made it to the top of the saddle, and it looks like, oh, there it is. There's the mine. So zoomed in on it. Down that way. Looks like I follow this trail. Oops, zoom back out. Follow this trail. There's where I came from. Looks like there's a trail going up this way, a trail going up that way. But I'm headed down to the mine here. All right. Whew, almost there. Or maybe deceptively almost there. As I'm walking downhill, which is a relief, been walking uphill the whole way. I looked at my GPS, my Runkeeper app that's tracking my trail here, and it shows I'm 1.9 miles of hiking so far when I started Runkeeper. I didn't start exactly from when I left the car. I didn't even start exactly upon the entrance, but yeah, so I'm probably 2 miles in of the 2.5 mile hike into the mining camp here, going down this trail. Heard a large bang or a large crash over in the canyon over here. It's interesting. Almost like a rock dump. So kind of kind of curious, but there she is, sitting and perched right in the side of the hill. Interestingly, so, you know, taking maps or pictures of this, you know, this is going down the canyon, but then you got a little rise on the hill that the structures are on. So I was getting confused on which direction, because I was assuming this is going downhill. But now that I'm here, I see you go down this canyon and then up that little small hill where the mine is situated. All right, I hear the Jeeps coming up behind me, so I'll turn this off. All right, these guys are heading down. Same trail I'm heading down. I guess they're checking it out for the first time themselves. Looks like I hear a drone. That's a drone following them. Very cool. I wonder if they're filming me while I'm filming them. So what's interesting, this property is for sale. So I do have permission to be on the property. My realtor contacted their realtor, and so they know I'm actually here to check out the property and see if I'm an interested buyer. And I'm assuming most people that travel down here do not have that similar permission, which is fine. This is interesting. It looks like a little mine dump up there. I see a like a razor wire or a bob wire surrounding it. I wonder if that's one of the old portals, the shaft that goes down, and either a ventilation shaft or one of the other shafts that they've had. There's supposedly 4 or 5 on this property, and I'm assuming the property starts around here. It's a weird rectangle that goes down in this canyon, surrounded by BLM land. So there's no adjacent private property around here. This entire canyon is all BLM land, with this, I believe, a portion of this hill, based on the map I was looking at, is on the property. Actually, a good portion of this hill, and then it goes down past the structure there with the hoist, and then beyond that there's another shaft over there, I believe, based on the maps I've been looking at. And so then there's a narrower triangle. So it's interesting property, a lot deeper of a canyon than I thought it would be, just based on Google Earth, you know, trying to check it out. Super tall mountain here, and even this little hill is a good sized hill compared to what I was expecting. And I was looking at the elevations, so man, my judge of the elevations are just way off, because this is a lot bigger. This is interesting. Here's a rock coming up, and it says private property etched right on the rock. So I wonder if this is the entrance to the private property. From what I understand, based on the maps, the road has an easement. So the road is not private property. You can stay on the road and you're not trespassing. And then the road continues through this property all the way down this canyon. But then your road is right in the middle of private property. Now, I saw that there was a trail on the map, and I see it now, a cut into the side of this hill, and it looks like it goes down over there, and there might be an ore dump right there. That's what it looks like. And there's some, the trail zigzags on the map anyhow. And so if I have enough energy out in the heat of today's hike, maybe I'll go check that out, because it did make me curious. It looked like it was semi-fresh road. I mean, I see a lot of growth on it, so I don't really know. But that looks like a lot steeper of an incline or of a hill. And so I might check that out. Okay, well, we're coming up Oh, I've got a little bit of a bend to mess around through. But it looks like we're coming up on some structures of the property. So after I get around this bend, I'll start filming again. All right, I had another truck come through. This place is Grand Central Station. So it looks like, you know, here's the saddle I came from, down this dirt road. And it looks like I've got a fence here, and the fence is wide open, and some barbed wire. I'm assuming this is the entrance to the property, and I'm gonna come in because do have permission to do that. But I wanna check this out. And oh boy, there's a lot more trash here than I saw on the map, and I saw a lot of trash on the map. Here's a totally beat out RV, absolutely destroyed. Somebody decided to make this their home, and there's a bunch of bullet holes in it. Sweet. And there's the front end of the trailer. Oh my goodness, what a mess. And just all this trash. I don't even know if maybe somebody was using this as a method of dumping out or trying to clean up the property, but this property is a disaster. There is an old tractor sitting in the bushes over there. See, I'm not going to go down there just yet because it seems like this might be the way to go. Oh my God, look at that old... Okay, I have to go down and look at that. It's an old engine with a giant flywheel on it. Almost like it's a rock crusher or something. Let's see what we got. Giant flywheel on this thing. I guess giant for me. Looks like that engine's completely cracked open. Look at that. Just busted wide open. Some sort of tank and a flywheel. Oh, there's an ore bin way over there. Look at all this stuff. Here's a giant something or another engine with a giant flywheel. Look at that flywheel. Oh my God, it's on a burnt piece of wood. Now you can see down there, it was mounted to some piece of wood that's now just charred to hell. Somebody put their little bungee on it. And look at this. We've got the hoist. Looks like a sluice box or some sort of separator. I don't know if that's a flotation separator or a sluice box. Oh, it looks like it's got little... Oh my goodness. And it looks like my friends have also arrived here. So it looks like there's a trailer here, a rusted out trailer with these tires. These tires don't look that old on this thing. What the heck? A lot of sheet metal, a lot of big bolts on the ground. Wow. Here's a whole forklift. And there's one of the shafts. This is clearly an incline shaft, right? Looks like the fence is open. And we are going to, oh my goodness, here. Oh, this goes down, down, down. Yep. You don't want to fall down there. There seems to be a ladder. I can't quite see the bottom or see where that ends, but it kind of looks like it might be silty. I saw pictures that suggested this was filled with water, but pretty interesting. Okay, giant flywheel. This looks like a rock crusher. Yeah, this must be where the rock crusher plates are. This giant, can you imagine trying to clean this property up and move all this stuff out? Okay, here we are at the Golden Chariot mine, and I think what's interesting is that much deeper canyon than I thought, and it looks like we're on the top of an ore dump because it is steep up here, but there seems to be some new stuff here, some old stuff, and some really old stuff. It looks like there's a giant tank, two tanks welded together in a V shape or something. I'm gonna go check that out. And then this shed. We'll go inside. Looks like a bunch of different trailers, a cement mixer. Looks like way up there, there's a tote, one of those giant water totes. I forget what the name of that thing is, but very interesting. Deep canyon all the way up to the, so a lot less steeper and dynamic property than I thought it was. All right, we're walking into the first structure here. Curious to see if it's got a foundation, because it looks like it's just dirt and kind of spooky. There's a bee around there. Looks like he's going into maybe a known hive. So that's not awesome. Interesting, because it looks like this is just a building on dirt. I thought there might be a concrete foundation, and it looks like it goes to a second level, or at least a deeper set of tanks over there, and I can't really tell. And this is an old shaker table. Look at this old shaker table right here with various flow gates that they apparently must have turned by hand. I don't even want to touch it because it could have mercury on it, but it doesn't look like it's steel or copper. It looks like it's, yeah, rubber mat. So this is relatively modern. They got an office in here. Looks like a bunch of blower ventilation up there. And looks like they had plastic for lighting. So it's a steel truss with, I mean, the structure's holding up. Just interesting. Let's walk over and check some more stuff out. Looks like we've got a place to cook and a wheelbarrow. And just trying to keep an eye out for snakes as I'm rustling through their home. Looks like they spent some time trying to reinforce this wall crumbling down. And here's an engine of some sort, and look at that screw, that dewatering screw. All right, let's kind of blast through here. Holy cow. A tank, another tank, another tank. It looks like a little bit of a stairway up to some equipment. Wonder what this just some concrete sacks that sat here and must have solidified in place. So this is a generator, I guess, because I'm seeing electrical outlets, oil pressure, temperature. This looks like it must have been a generator to run their equipment. I don't want to step on anything. Okay, so, yep, here's the dewatering screw. So that's pretty cool. I'm not sure how well I'm doing filming, guys. My apologies for being more interested in looking around for snakes and rats than I am videoing, but oh yeah. See, I don't want to step on that. Looks like I'm on a concrete pad right now, but then this turns into plywood and it looks like it drops. So I am not going to go out onto there. Maybe this is on solid ground and this is suspended. I'm just not gonna step on it. But this looks like, oh, that's their ball mill. Oh, I'd like to get a good angle of that ball mill. Look at that giant tooth. You can kind of see it on the, I saw it on pictures on the property, but oh my goodness. There's some chairs down there. There's the tanks. There's stairs going down from up here. I'm just not gonna risk standing on rotting wood that I don't know what's up. And this part is wood beams, and they got some modern electrical outlets. Somebody cut that one off at the, but maybe somebody's out here scrapping for copper. A lot of hose tubing that looks fresh. Look at this thing. Junction box just swinging free for this light. So interesting. A lot of work was put into building all of this for sure, but it is abandoned now. So a water pump going to these tanks. I wonder if they're just flotation silt tanks. Kind of interesting to gather samples of the soil in there. I wonder if they've left any flour gold or... All right, let's keep the exploration going. We got looks like we got another kind of generator over here, some sort of gas tank or water tank. I'm guessing that's a generator. I don't see any particular drive shaft on that other than, but I don't see electrical, but it looks like somebody's cut all of that electrical up. Just scavenging, perhaps. All right, I'm gonna walk up this trail to, there's a fire hydrant, or fire extinguisher. It's all crushed. There's something up there, so looks like that's where they were bringing their ore up and dropping it down and processing it through the mill. Let's just walk up here and then we'll come back. All right, come back at you. All right, coming up on this. What are these water totes called again? The name. Forget what these things are, but this seems to be like undamaged and pretty new. Interesting. I got one of these fucking burrs in me. Yeah, good. This looks like a piece of ball mill plate or a jaw crusher plate. High strength manganese, something or another maybe. Little carts, little scaffolding pieces. All right, here is the second structure. And up a ways, look at this whole cart thing. I'm gonna come in here and check the second structure out, but before I do, I'm just gonna walk over to this thing. This looks super old and interesting. What do we got here? Sluice box. Looks like giant, tall riffles. Looks like they can all be adjustable in some manner. I don't even know how this thing works. It's almost like it might shake itself. Looks like another maybe smaller ball mill up there and a hammer mill. So that's a hammer mill. Yeah. All right. Half of something or another, a giant wheel. Okay, let's take a look at this structure. Got a steel shed here. It's got bars in the windows. It doesn't help much since the door is off the hinges. Okay, well, we've got a nice concrete foundation and roll top door. So that's pretty cool. And seemingly modern shelving unit. It's pretty, so this roll top door is pretty modern and looks like it's in working order. I'm gonna belly up to the bar right here. And it looks like they have a stairs to nowhere. They have a little false banister there. I'm not sure what their purpose was. Maybe they were feeding something in here, in this room. But yeah, this is a pretty solid foundation right here. Like this is, even though the structure is wood instead of steel, which I was thinking it might be, it still is pretty well put together. And the windows have the bars on it. They could certainly be replaced. I'm sure it gets cold here at night. Interesting. See, like your bar. You get your, there's an electrical on and off box. There must have been some heavy equipment in here. Let's go through this doorway. There's another roll top door. Here's a, what is this thing? Must be your hoist, your, some crane to, or, you know, engine to hoist up a cable. That's what it looks like. It's another big piece of equipment. It's got this electrical generator on there. I don't know what it does though. Some sort of pneumatic device. It's kind of, fuck if I know what that is. All right, some sort of antenna they had. And looks like there's some, oh, look at that. There's this, I don't know what would have gone up there, and it looks like something would have gone out. Some sort of hoist or crane system where a cable might have gone through this piece. So maybe this guy was faced that direction, sending a cable out there, maybe to, I don't know, hoist ore up. Fuck, I don't know. But that's pretty interesting. They built that with this extra protrusion. Okay, I got some bees up here, and it looks like a nest of a bird of some sort. Look at this, I got a little, what is that, a lawnmower? Little quad. Looks like a little tractor thing. So this place is a freaking disaster. I mean, just trash galore. If you bought this property, you could spend a lifetime just trying to dispose. Wow, look at this thing came through. Or maybe that was intended to be that way, built that way. That pipe, I don't know. Looks like my friends in the Jeep have left me. And that's just fine. Okay, so kind of looks like a dynamite room of some sort. Looks like they locked it. To be honest, I'm not even gonna fuck with that. A lot of timber here. Surprisingly, this did not burn in any fire yet. Any arson event. There's a gas tank of sorts. So this looks like some sort of ore bin. Let's see if we can get an angle on this. Yeah, it's a little smaller than it looked like in the pictures, and it looks like maybe this is to screen or to classify some more. It looks like that's mounted to shake, so perhaps the smaller stuff falls through. The bigger stuff comes in here to be rock crushed. And that smaller stuff goes down to that other ore bin I can't quite get a handle on, and maybe conveyors up this and then falls down that drum, that little drum, and is feeding their system, is my guess. Oh my God, look at all this equipment. Just giant metal engines taken apart and abandoned, left. This place is a major operation. And look at all this timber. Like you got wood for days out here. All these railroad ties or beams you could utilize. I don't know how good that wood is anymore. It looks kind of rotten, but it's wood. Okay, so now we're gonna check these tanks out. We're on the second level over here. And all right, let's walk up this little dump pile, find out what these things are. All right, any snakes? Okay, look at this. Okay, so this is some sort of, yeah, they must have had this for water to create their slurry. They must have been pumping into this, and then it fed via gravity down to the mill and the wash plant down there, is my guess. So they must have been pumping water or filling water up here, and they had one tank and they're like, that's not quite enough, and we don't like straight lines, so we're going to have to put another one at an angle. I'm afraid my OCD would just not allow me to put these two tanks in this canted angle like this. Regardless of the topology, I'd have to freaking dig it out and make them perpendicular or horizontal with each other. But yeah, most people are not constrained by that. All right, some little wheel, like a wheelchair wheel. Craziness. You can just see how tall these mountains are around here. Fuck. I'm sorry. This is a family-friendly show. Excuse the French. I'm out here in the backwoods, so we get coarse language. Yeah, look at I had wanted to walk down to the stream and potentially sample, see if it's been 100 years or since they originally mined this place, if there was any, I'm sure they've had rains, and if there's any placer gold in the area. This looks like a grizzly to classify out some rock, and I don't know what that is. It looks like a blower. It looks like an air blower behind it. And this looks like another rock, another ball mill. Yeah, that's got to be a ball mill. Look at the bolts on the outside to connect to the manganese plates on the inside to crush up the ore. I wonder if there's steel balls still in that thing. Those are worth money. Big fat steel balls for a ball mill. Look at this must be some old school generator. Oshkosh, Wisconsin, US Motors. Kind of amazing. All right, I'm gonna walk. So there's that truck, that's that ripped up truck. This is a different angle on this hoist, and there's that shaft that I had looked at earlier. All right, just kind of walking around the property. I hope you're enjoying the adventure with me here. All right, I'm coming up on this RV that I never saw on the map or on the Google Earth, nor did I see this RV on the real estate listings on Zillow. But there's that cut in the road there that's going to go to some zigzag that goes down. I was intending on following that down and just checking out the canyon here. This is a pretty cool deep canyon, really sheltered. I wonder if it gets dark here early, because you know, you're right in the middle of the canyon and the sun is gonna rise late and set early, is what I imagine. Look at this trash. So mixed it up a satellite dish. Somebody must have been living out here and then either abandoned it and the place got trashed, or got trashed and they decided to take off. This does not look healthy. Oh boy. All right, I'm gonna exit the gate and I'm gonna go up a little further, a little deeper into the property and see if there's anything else notable. I think we hit 85% of the interesting stuff, but there is 25 acres to this place, and I think there is a couple notable things that I'm going to check out. So I'm going to hike it. I'm going to check my time here because I'm going to try to turn around by noon so I can get done by the exact heat of the day at 1 or 2 o'clock. All right, coming back. Okay, I'm more on the southern end of the property here, looking down above this hoist tower. Presumably that was to lower it into a shaft. I'm going to try to walk down there and see if there's a shaft. I see some ore dump, you know, a dump pile here next to the shaft, but I don't see the shaft itself, which seems scary. But I'm going to kind of check this out. But this is looking into the southerly direction, down off the tail end of the property into the smaller rectangle. And so yeah, this entire valley is a lot steeper than I thought. These mountains are deeper and steeper than I thought. And it looks like, you know, down in the valley a bit, there's some taller trees. So this place must get enough water to support that, at least down in the runoff of the valley. So that's kind of cool to see. Looks like there's a pipe over there. I might go check that out. But here's the entrance. I'm just going to call it the southern entrance. I'm not exactly sure how far the property goes. I'll check on Google Earth where I'm at. Yeah, this guy, he's not salvageable. I'm not gonna get her going. So sorry if I'm panning down looking for snakes out in the heat of the day here. Make sure I don't run into any of my slithering buddies. All right, so here's this hoist tower on its side. Clearly it was another incline drift or a shaft, so it wasn't straight down. It had some sort of incline to it, right, for the ore carts or the skip buckets. Interesting how these cross members they're either crushed and they weren't intended to be, they're broken. Yeah, they're broken. So this thing fell on its side and the supports bent. So I don't know, was it pushed over? Did it break and fall on its side? And is there an opening up here? I just see a ramp down and I just see a cut into the hill, as if we're, you know, looking on the rest of the operation. So I've only found the one shaft so far, unless there's a shaft within one of these buildings, right? And there may be a deeper shaft, but it almost looks like they were loading ore into the ore bin over there and crushing it and sluicing it and shaker tabling it, and then all their tailings pile is off the side of that hill there, giant tailings pile. So where were they getting the majority of their ore? Not way down there, I wouldn't guess. And it almost seems like this thing is going to something that should have been across the way, like they were bringing the ore off a tram or something like that over there. Huh. Curious. By the way, I have no experience in this area, and so I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. But yeah, this is really interesting. So the property, like half of the property line cuts this hill in half and comes, you know, rectangularly squared up down here. So the property actually starts way above, probably where that rock said private property, maybe even further up, and then comes down here, and it's, I think we're still in the big rectangle. All right, hiked back up from the Golden Chariot mine. Notice there seems to be an ore dump right there. Seems to be an ore dump right here. I see some barbed wire around there, and I saw some barbed wire around there. So I'm assuming these are shafts, open shafts somewhere. It kind of appears this is the beginning of the property. It's not well marked that it is. I'm gonna quickly walk over to this. Just see. Ooh, guys, I'm pooped. Always want to be careful. You never know if these things have collapsed or how stable they are. So clearly this is some portal, but can't really tell with all the debris in the way. But there's looks to be like a vein. Maybe this is what they were chasing. This could have just been an exploratory thing, but I don't know if they'd put barbed wire around it if it didn't go deeper. It could have caved in. There's clearly a lot of debris, a lot of tailings out here, so they must have dug some significant amount down into the earth. So this is kind of it. I think we accomplished the goal. I'm pretty pleased with hiking out here. You know, next time I come, I won't be hiking it. I'll be bringing a truck, 4x4, Bronco, something, because it's passable. That's what I was worried about. But there it is, guys. The Golden Chariot mine in this kind of beautiful canyon with this striking topology, these striking hills all around. And I'm walking back up to the saddle. Notice all the quartz veins everywhere. Some of these show mineralization and some of them don't. This is kind of interesting. What we just saw definitely looked more mineralized, but this looks like some. Is it worth sampling? Probably not. But this doesn't look like it. This thing up here ahead looks devoid of any mineralizations. But yeah, whew. So far, about 5 miles of hiking, but I think it's the elevation that's killing me. Look at that way down there. Be up here at the top of the saddle soon, and then luckily I got a downhill So, all right, guys. Well, see if I have any reason to pop back on. Otherwise, I'm glad you guys came on this adventure with me. As you probably know, I'm not a YouTuber trying to monetize or develop an incredible following. Just kind of scrapbooking, documenting stuff, and I find interesting. And so far, a fair amount of you guys have found it interesting too. So thanks for coming along. Silver Surf Wax from Julian, the Banner Grade, out on the old Chariot Mine Trail. All right, see you on the next one. Okay, got a view of the trail as I'm heading back down from that big saddle. I got two trucks coming up to visit me. It looks like one's suburban type and the other one is just a regular, looks like an F-250 or something. And this is my walk back, kind of from the top, or as far up as this low saddle is. I'm still below the hills here, but glad to be walking down, although it's a little bit slippery, so not as easy as, but it's certainly not as huff and puff as have been doing all the way. All right, just wanted to get kind of a horizontal view. These guys are coming up the grade pretty steeply. They're making it, and they're nice, beautiful trucks. They seem to be pretty nice, but yeah, they're going slow, as you can see, and they're definitely have quite a bit of a grade and some bumps to get through. So it's not for the lightest. Oh boy, it's not for the lightest of duty trucks. And these guys have what appear to be nicer vehicles here. All right, let me go greet my friends. All right, they were really nice. They checked on me, and I was filming them as they came up this part of the grade where it's probably the steepest and the bumpiest, probably the most gouged because of runoff. So it's probably looks flat to you on your screen, but this is at a pretty steep angle going downhill. Kind of a good example of probably the toughest spot on the trail so far that I've experienced. But coming on back down to the truck, there's a saddle, as I'm calling it, saddle in the hill, and yep. I think I'm gonna do some B-roll here where I'm just kind of walking the trail. Maybe as I'm doing an introduction, I can talk audio over this B-roll and introduce the video or something. One day I'll invest in a camera with a stabilizer and one of those sticks, so that you don't have to witness me stumbling down the hill and bobbing like I am. I wonder if my video software has any image stabilization. My freeware software has any kind of, I can cut off part of the image and stabilize. That'd be kind of good to investigate. So far, I'm just doing stuff with an iPhone, and the free video editing software that you can download, whatever it might be. I'm so freaking cheap, I won't even pay for the pro version or whatever until I've used it 20 times. Still haven't paid for any editing software. I've downloaded a bunch of different ones, some to the PC, but it's kind of a hassle to do all my editing in front of a PC. Quite frankly, I can do it from the phone app just as easy, and it allows me to do it while I'm, got some free time, sitting on a couch or sitting on the bed or sitting on a toilet editing this video. Okay, this is B-roll, you guys won't hear that. Trying to find some ridiculous sounds, music for the intro and the outro. I'm telling you, putting together YouTube videos is a whole lot of effort. For like 15 minutes of footage that you might video capture, you try to put together a 10-minute video, and even though you maybe in advance came up with a script, had some things to say, took a couple of takes, when you flub some words, you still take 2 hours to do the video editing. Try to figure out which clips you want to put together, what you want to say, add text to the screen, add music, something, and it looks like dog shit, to be quite frank. Like these YouTubers that have super professional video production amaze me. They are really well refined. And my freeware versions don't have all the... it feels like no matter what I do, I put together a video that looks like it was generated in the 70s, right? It gets spinning text, like it comes at you like it's like fancy animation from 1982, right? Might as well just go all in and get the three-dimensional MTV. I want my MTV guys, and it's like Minecraft level animation. Okay, what the hell am I talking about? All right, that should be enough B-roll, just random ass footage to include if I want to have sort of an intro or an outro. All right. Okay, I got some friends coming. Looks like there's 3 Range Rover type vehicles. I'm not sure. They look like some sort of overland vehicles that are coming through. So when they come by, I'm gonna duck out of this little ditch. And it looks like they're coming right up behind me now. So I'm gonna duck around. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. No problem. Oh, wow. Look at that. You got quite the group. You got a whole group of... it's like a whole overland group. I'm getting dusted out. Not just Range Rovers, looks like some Toyotas and some other vehicles. I don't think I'm going to bother wiping out license plates or anything crazy like that, but it's kind of neat. These guys having a little off-road adventure as a group. Even some of them are individual drivers, some of them paired up. It's pretty nice. Shout out to the buddy who flaked on me for on this hike today. You know who you are. Only been, talking about it for a couple weeks, but it's cool, man. It's cool. All right, so we're coming down to the bottom of Banner here. So we're getting pretty close to being through with the hike. I'll do a recap on the mileage and the time. Probably tell you my pace. I'm sure it was slow. And I'm expecting to put in at least 5 miles, if not 6, based on, look at them, they're all bunched up, trying to make it through. Interesting, they're going as slow as they are. Probably on foot, it doesn't seem as aggressive, or they're just being ginger with their nice new vehicles. All right, another set of Range Rovers coming down. Everybody's very friendly, and oh, we still got more. My God. Seems like a whole Range Rover, Land Rover parade. All right. Oh. Yeah, this is a pretty slippery part of the road. Pretty downhill. This is kind of good, instructive to see how aggressive or not is it. You can kind of see these guys are in low gear and bouncing their way down. So it's not super aggressive, but it's not trivial either. I wouldn't do this in a regular SUV. Certainly not a luxury SUV. It's kind of fun. The whole group is bunched up there down at the entrance. So you can see that's Banner. There's the Banner store down there by that, let's see if we can zoom in. There's the Banner store, which was closed when I came there this morning. And then there's the whole group of SUV or Land Rovers that seem to be all coming together. There's more than that though. There's probably twice that many. And you got the road that's going up the Banner grade up to Julian.